Since 1923, we have known that good fiscal policy and good economic policy implies that you tax bad things and you don't tax good things. Let's tax less good things like hard work and profits, and let's tax more bad things like congestion and pollution, and especially carbon emissions.
Carbon pricing, as the name suggests, is a way that companies and governments use to price their emissions. Pricing the emissions helps governments and businesses to make informed decisions about their future investments and the current state of operations.
At the Paris COP in December 2015, India and the other countries reiterated their intent to act on climate change. Domestic policies in India will of course take time to catch up, but the business community of course needs to factor in these developments almost immediately, since some of the decisions take time and will play out over multiple decades. This then was the motivation for Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation to progress thinking on internal carbon pricing, and this has enabled WRI to work with several corporate entities to test out different variants of internal carbon pricing.
At WRI India, our primary objective was to develop a tool that can cater to the needs of the businesses in determining the internal price on carbon. In our endeavor, we reached out to several businesses in India through a survey, which actually helped us in developing the primer, and the primer also helped us in developing the tool that can be implemented with the businesses. We took this tool to several of the businesses in India and helped them discover their internal price on carbon, which allowed them to understand their own emissions inventory and their own strategies in a better way. With this discovery, we were able to develop several case studies which are now included and released along with the primer.
In this low carbon economy, the whole emphasis is how to bring down carbon emissions, and that can be done by various ways, including usage of waste, power consumption reduction, as well how to make and understand that carbon would be very expensive for future. To give importance to CO2 reduction, we have identified that now in future carbon would be priced, and internally we have started putting a price on carbon. And when we put pricing on carbon, then we find that many projects which were otherwise unviable because of high payback period, that has become viable. For our low carbon economy philosophy, WRI is supporting us in a big way, guiding us how to further go ahead so that we become one of the most climate friendly organization. In fact, we have also associated ourselves with Carbon Pricing Leadership Coalition, with UNGC, and as well now we have committed ourselves to be using 100% renewable power.
Mahindra is looking to reduce its carbon footprint. We are looking at using carbon pricing as a tool to make this happen. Now, when you're using carbon pricing as a tool, there are certain kinds of actions we definitely want to enable. And one kind of action is the reduction of costs, which we classify as grey costs. These are costs we incur because of historical reasons, but which have a negative impact on the environment, lead to emissions, higher use of energy. The approach we've taken is to make a commitment to invest in technologies that bring down emissions, bring down energy consumption, and therefore brings down cost. This doesn't provide any source of risk to the business.
Arvind's approach to carbon pricing focuses mainly on two main aspects. One is, we have a shadow pricing mechanism for electricity. And the reason we chose electricity is because it's very easily measurable. And the second aspect that we are focusing on is improving our measurement on, various other aspects of carbon emission. Then there is a lot of compensatory activity that we are doing, where we are encouraging farmers to farm in much more environmentally friendly ways. We are trying to work on our packaging. We're trying to work on better modes of transport. The WRI framework allows us to, or pushes us to capture a lot of this, in a very organized manner.
Even in the absence of carbon pricing framework in India, we have seen traction among CEOs to understand the nuance of carbon pricing both from risk and opportunities perspective. So far, we have 6 companies from India who are part of World Bank Group-led Carbon Pricing Leadership Consortium CPLC. Companies want to future-proof their business. Carbon Pricing Leadership Consortium is about partnership. So we have strategic partners, government, private sector, which are part of this consortium. And partners like WRI in India, they are very critical for the success of carbon pricing in India.
Carbon pricing, therefore, acts as a tool where businesses can make judicious decisions and invest into those projects where they can get maximum value. Business action and the landscape in India on carbon pricing is quite encouraging. And this perfectly complements the ambitious goals that India as a country has made at Paris and elsewhere. I would urge all corporates to look at carbon pricing in a more comprehensive, structured and a robust manner in order to realize the true benefits of using this as a key tool to drive ambitious climate action.